Carney looks impressive on paper, and I can understand why Canadians think he's the man for the moment, because he was vetted, for example, by the Brits who put him in charge of the Bank of England. But I can also tell you what happened when he was in charge of the Bank of England. And I know this because I know people who were affected, and I mean rich people, who were affected by his decisions as head of the Bank of England. So the policies that Carney put forward as the head of the Bank of England produced an asset boom. And what that means is that stock prices went upward radically. And what that meant was that the people who have a tremendous amount of money got a lot more money as a consequence of Carney's maneuvering. And that, I would say, shows you that's a good case example of exactly who he prioritizes, despite his protestations, when push comes to shove. And so the people that I've been talking to, and these are very wealthy people and they're very well connected, although they have a conscience, as it turns out, we're not very happy that the quantitative easing principles that Carney put into place in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis made the rich much richer and the rest of everyone else, and that meant everyone but the extremely rich, substantially poorer. And so that's an example of what happened when Carney was running the Bank of England. And so there's no evidence that he's like a friend of yours. And so, okay, now, then we might address another issue. It's like the issue of Trump and his saber rattling. Well, the accusations that have gone out with regards to Pierre Poilievre is that Poilievre is just MAGA light. You know, he's a Make America Great advocate, which he's not, by the way, and that a vote for Poilievre is really a vote for the Trump types. Well, let's see what Trump himself thinks. Well, a few days ago, when this was recorded, Trump came out and said he didn't give a damn who ran Canada. And so, you know, we can conclude from that what we might as Canadians. One thing we can conclude, and, you know, you want to put this in perspective, is that the new American administration has a lot of countries to keep track of. And Canada is the US's major trading partner, and we should get some due consideration. But that doesn't mean that the new administration has had Canada in its sights, so to speak, or even understands the Canadian political landscape particularly well. And it's my impression, and I've done some digging, that Trump didn't understand that his comments about Canada and the tariffs and his threat to turn Canada into the 51st state would be utilized by the Liberals to resurrect them from the well-deserved death they had already managed and to